Good afternoon, friends. Well, good afternoon. Well, let's begin our class. I don't know where you live, but here in my house it is raining a lot. But a lot. Friends, the homework is dealing with relative pronouns and relative clauses. This is the topic of the homework that I assigned last class. So it's important to remember the characteristic of relative clauses because they could be a problem in the exams one day in the future. So let's speak a little bit about relative pronouns and relative clauses. Last class, which was last week, is windy. Mike, here I live, in Móstoles, near Getafe, and it is raining like, for example, in Florida, like in Miami, or like in Costa Rica, it's raining a lot. Hello, Alex. I was telling Mike, because Mike is in Almeria, I was telling Mike that here in Móstoles, it is raining, but cats and dogs. I don't know if it is raining where you live. Mike in Almeria told me that it is windy, but not rainy. Here it is raining a lot. Well, friends, relative pronouns. Be patient, be patient. Alex, you are in Madrid and it is not raining. You see the difference? Here it is raining. Everything, the quantity of rain that you deserve in Madrid is now here in Móstoles. Relative pronouns. Relative pronouns are elements that we use to substitute a noun. That's why they are called pronouns, because they replace a noun. The relative pronouns, the most popular, are who and which. You know that because you have studied English for many years. The most popular, the most common relative pronouns are who for people and which for things and for animals. Who and which. We studied in recent class that sometimes, not always, sometimes we can use that for which, that for who. It is possible, not always, but it is possible sometimes. We also studied that when I want to express possession, the adequate relative pronoun is whose. When I am speaking about place, the adequate relative pronoun is where. And when I speak about time, the adequate relative pronoun is when. And we use all these elements in the previous class. As a consequence of these relative pronouns, who, which, that, where, when, we created clauses, and I explained that clauses are short sentences, a group of words that has a subject, a verb, and a predicate. They are called clause because they are very short. And sometimes these clauses, the initial element is one of these relative pronouns, who, which, that, when. And in that case, normally, the relative pronoun is the subject of this group of words, the clause. Normally, who, which, that, when are the subject of the small relative clause. Okay, that's good. And then, when we felt that everything was okay, we began studying the complexity of relative clauses because they are divided into two big groups, the defining relative clauses and the non-defining relative clauses. And what is the difference? Well, defining relative clauses are this group of words, this group of elements that are essential for the comprehension of what the person is saying. If I omit these elements, the rest of the sentence doesn't make any sense. And we studied the example of my brother. Remember my brothers, I have 5 brothers. One lives in Fuenlabrada, the other lives in Almeria with Mike, etc. This example. And I said, my brother who lives in, I don't remember the example. My brother who lives in New Jersey is getting married, for example. This element who lives in New Jersey is essential because I have 5 brothers. If I don't tell you this, you can get confused. Well, yes, but which brother? The brother living in Fuenlabrada, the brother living in Almeria with Mike, or who? So this element who lives in New Jersey is essential, it's important, it's necessary, defining. And we don't use commas. No commas. Defining, essential, necessary for the comprehension. The other group is the contrary. They are clauses, relative clauses, because they begin similarly. They begin with who, which, that, when, similar, but it is extra information. This is a piece of information that you can omit and the rest of the sentence makes sense. It's correct. You understand everything. Imagine, again, the same example we studied last class. Imagine that I have only one brother, only one, and you know that I have only one brother. I don't have to tell you anything about my brother, because if I say my brother, you immediately know, yes, Jerry's brother who lives in Miami. Yes, okay. Because I have only one. I don't need to explain. So if I tell you, my brother, who now is 35 years old, is very intelligent and he studied medicine. Yes, this segment, who is now 35 years old, is not essential. I can drop it out. I can omit it. And the rest of the sentence, my brother is very intelligent and now he's studying medicine. It is good. The comprehension is easy. The little segment who is now 35 years old is not essential. It's non-defining. And we use commas. We use commas for the person reading the sentence realize that this is extra information I'm giving you. It's information, but extra. It's not essential, right? Well, good. So, conclusion, we have 2 types of relative clauses: defining, essential; non-defining, extra information. The non-defining uses comma at the beginning, at the end. Correct. Very good. And now there are other consequences of this. In the defining relative clause, no comma, defining, I can use who or that for people, which or that for things and animals. So in the defining relative clauses, I can replace who for that, which for that, and no problem, because they are completely similar. It is impossible in the non-defining commas. In the non-definings, we never use that. I can explain that cannot replace who and that. No, we never use that. Let me tell you again, we never use that in the non-defining relative clauses, so forget about that, impossible. Another consequences of this tragedy, in the defining, no commas, in the defining relative clause, you know that sometimes the relative pronoun who, which, no when, no where, no whose, no, what is the other, whom, no, only who or which or that, because we can use that in the defining. Sometimes after who, which, or that, we have a name. Peter, Manolo, Torquato, see that name? Or it can be a common name, the student, the teacher, the girl, the boy, or it can be a pronoun, I, you, he, we. Imagine that situation. Who I, who you, who Peter, who Torquato. Imagine that. In that case, if the relative clause is defining, I can omit who or which or that. I can omit it because the function of who, which, or that was the subject of the relative clause. But if now I have Torquato, you, I, we have another noun, another subject, we don't need who, which, or that. We can drop it out, and I can omit the relative pronoun, who, which, or that. No more who, which, or that. And again, only in the defining, no comma, defining relative clauses. In the non-defining commas, we never omit who or which. Never. They have to be there forever and ever, and the rest of their lives, and the rest of our lives, and the rest of everything, etc., etc. That's what we studied last class. So I assigned a homework, which was an extra copy, an extra exercise. I'm sorry, but I have the sun in my face. Because now it stopped raining, you know, weather. It stopped raining now, and now we have a sunny day. My God. Well, friends, the homework was a beautiful exercise dealing with the relative pronouns. Let me show you this. Give me a second. Here you are. Relative pronouns. A. Complete each sentence with a word below. And the words, the possible words are who, whose, when, where, which. Observe that we don't have that. So don't use that, because that is not an option in this exercise, right? And in the exam, be careful with that. Use only the options they give you. Good. In number one, what is, in your opinion, the adequate relative pronoun? In number one, where for Alex? Mike is where also. Nobody else? Well, Alex and Mike, excellent. The answer is correct. And in number two, what do you think is a which for Alex? In number two, and which for Mike? Alex and Mike, maybe you have realized that you are the only two students in class today. So it's going to be fantastic. Only boys. This is a boys' class. What about three? What do you think is the relative pronoun in three? Who for Alex? And for Mike, the same. Who? And number four? When, sorry. When for Alex and for Mike? When. Very good. Five. Who's for Alex? Who's for Mike? Excellent. Excellent. You have the maximum. Very good. The second part is different. In letter B, you have to combine this pair of sentences using a relative clause. And of course, you have to make some changes to make it possible. I think that if you write the sentence, it's going to be very long. I don't know what your opinion is, but I would prefer that you tell me orally the solution of this sentence. I'm going to tell you number one as a manner of example. And then maybe number two can be for Alex and number three can be for Mike or vice versa. Right, but I'm going to begin for you to lose the shyness, the timidity. Number one for me is, I bought my first car 10 years ago when I was a salesman. When I was a salesman, I think this is extra information. So I'm going to use a comma because it's non-defining. I repeat, I bought my first car 10 years ago, comma, when I was a salesman. And Alex, what do you think of number two? Can you tell me orally?
Yes. There is a girl in my class whose family emigrated from India.
Excellent, Monitor. Monitor, and where is your girlfriend?
She's studying at home.
Girls, Alex, yes or no? Girls.
Yes.
And the girl in the middle?
I suppose the same. I don't know.
Alex, you have to control everything. And do you know anything about the teacher?
No.
Nothing, eh? No, because you were not in the same group lately. Okay. Good. Well, girls, Alex, be patient, friend.
Jerry,
Yes?
I have a question in the first exercise
Yes.
because you say that it's necessary to add a comma, and I question
Yes.
for that. It's
Well,
necessary
in my
in the
example,
first sentence.
in
The
my
sentence is, I
yes.
bought my first car when I was I bought my first car 10 years ago when I was a salesman.
Yes,
It's
yes,
necessary the comma.
yes. In this example, yes, because it is extra information. If I was a salesman, or I was a postman, or I was a doctor or an engineer, it's not essential for me to buy in the car. I bought the car, but the job I was doing is not essential. That's why
Okay.
I use a comma, because it is non-defining. With if I imagine that if I what is the name if I omit this segment when I was a salesman, the sentence is complete and very clear. I bought my car, my first car, 10 years ago, and everybody understand. So if I want to
Yes.
tell you what my job was 10 years ago, good, it's extra information, but it's not essential. That's why I use a comma, Mike.
Okay.
Mike, can you read your number 3?
Yes. Mark's sister, who has just graduated, is getting married tomorrow.
Very good. Is it defining or non-defining?
Is non-defining.
Exactly. You use comma, yes or no?
Yes, for the comma.
Yes, yes. Very good. Very good. Alex, what about number 4?
Lots of people walk in the park where I jog every morning.
Very good. Do you agree, Mike?
Yes. Where I
You
go
doubt it.
every morning. Yes. Yes.
You doubt it. You doubt it.
A little bit. A little bit.
Okay, but this is correct. But my question for Alex, is it defining or non-defining?
Defining, I think.
Yes, it is essential. It's important. It's not in any park. No. It's in the park where I jog every day. So this is defining. I don't use commas. Very good, friend. 5, this is for me. Let me help. My uncle's farm, which we often visit, is 20 kilometers from here. In my opinion, I don't know you tell me if you don't agree, but in opinion, which we often visit, is extra information. It's not essential, so I'm going to use commas. My uncle's farm,
Yes.
comma,
Yes.
which we often visit, comma, is 20 kilometers.
Because
Because,
you can omit this clause,
yes,
no?
and it continues.
You can say my uncle's farm is 20 farm,
Exactly.
no?
Exactly, Mike. That's the point. That's the point. Exactly. I can omit that part, the clause, the relative clause, and still the sentence makes sense. Yes, very good. And now number 6, monitor. Can you help me, friend?
Yes.
The young boy.
The young boy was given a reward which he had saved.
No, because this changes the meaning. If you tell me that, Alex, I think that he is saving the reward.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't save the reward. He saved the drawing child.
Okay.
El niño que se ahogaba, the drawing child. Ese es el que él salvó. Mike, do you have a different answer?
No, I have the young boy who had saved the drowning child, without comma, was given a reward.
Perfect. See that, Alex? This
But
is
without
the
comma.
Yes.
without comma. Yes, without comma, because it is defining relative clause. The young boy who has saved the drawing child. This relative clause is essential. because if I omit the relative clause, people don't know what young boy was given a reward. It was not any young boy, no, it was specifically the young boy who has saved the drawing child. Very good, friends. Thank you for the effort. Letter C, I think is easier. Correct the error in each of the sentences. In number 1, for example, it says, the boy which, what a stupid, huh? What a stupid thing. We know, Alex knows, Mike in Almeria knows. Monitor, where are you living or where are you staying now? In what city?
I'm in Madrid, in the center of Madrid.
Ah, yes, you told me before, yes. So I can say that Alex in Madrid, I can say that Mike in Almeria and Jerry here in Móstoles know, we know that the boy is a person and we don't use which for person, we use who. So the mistake here is who, not which. The boy who sits next to me in class is very clever. A question for Mike. Mike, be ready. Be ready. Is this defining or non-defining relative clause?
The boy who defining, no?
Defining mechanically because there are no commas, right? But logically, Mike, we know that this is defining because we don't see comma, and Cambridge was the responsible of writing this. Because if another student write the sentence, maybe he or she didn't use comma because he or she doesn't know. But here is clear that it is essential information. It is not any boy. It is precisely the boy who sits next to me. Well, number 2, our cat that we all love very much died last week. What is the problem here, Alex?
I think we must change that for which.
Exactly. That is the problem. This is a non-defining relative clause. I can see the commas. And remember that in the non-defining relative clause, we never use that. We never use that in non-defining relative clauses. Not even crazy. We never, not even in Almeria, anywhere. Not even in Madrid, not here in Móstoles. So that is impossible. We use the adequate for an animal, which. Number 3, the man who car, look at that. The man who car was stolen was very upset. Mike, your opinion?
And we have to replace who for whose.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Exactly that. Exactly that.
The pronunciation is whose, no?
Whose. And this is defining. I don't see the commas, but besides, my logic, my understanding of the relative clauses know that it is defining because I am speaking about the man whose car was stolen, not about the other man. No, I'm speaking about that man, specifically that. So this is defining, no commas. The school which I had studied as a child was destroyed in a fire. What about this, Alex?
We eliminate which and replace for where.
Yes, excellent. The school where, no la escuela la cual o la escuela que yo había estudiado, no, donde yo. And be careful in the exam. The translation helps sometimes. In this case, translation helps. 5, at the weekend that my family is at home, we have breakfast together. What about here, Mike?
And we have to remove that.
Yes.
For and add when.
Yes, at the weekend when, yes, exactly that. We don't remove, we replace. We replace. Yes. Very good, Mike. Thank you very much. Very good comprehension. I think you don't have any problem with relative pronouns. To finish, letter D, complete the passage with suitable words. There may be more than one correct answer. Okay, in number 1, Alex, what are the possible relative pronouns?
Which?
Yes. Is it possible that?
Yes.
Yes, because it is defining. I don't see the commas. It is defining, and in defining relative clauses, I can use who or that, which or that. Now, in number 2, Mike.
Number 2 is who.
Who. And in number 3, Alex.
Whose.
Excellent. Possession. Whose. And in number 4, Mike.
Where.
Correct. And 5, Alex.
When.
Good. Mike, 6.
Which.
No, what? Let me analyze. Why which? Let me see. On March 17, the day.
The day. Yes.
Que
I was doubtful in that sentence.
Yes. Not only
Between
you, Mike.
Which and who.
Yes, it's very confusing because in the translation in Spanish, we can say in Spanish, el día 17 de marzo, no, el 17 de marzo, el día que.
En el que, ¿no?
En
Para
el,
ser. It would be.
well, pero habría que decir in which. Tendríamos que decir, sí, podría ser, pero usando in. On March 17th, the day in which Saint Patrick, tendría que ser in which o como decía Alex, when. The day when. When. Es lo que esperábamos, pero es verdad que si me dices in which sería aceptable, no muy usual, pero sí lo he visto. In which Saint Patrick died, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And what about number 7?
When is better? When is better?
Well, when is better here because it's only one word. And number 7 for you, Alex.
I think it's which.
Yes, it is which. Yes, very good. Very good. Relative pronouns is one thing and relative clauses is another different thing. Relative pronoun is only one word, who, which, that, and relative clause is a group of words. The initial element is always a relative pronoun. But after the relative pronoun, who, which, then, who, which, that, when, after that, we have other words, verbs, predicates, objects, etc., etc. In the workbooks, page 44, we have an exercise or 2 exercises that I consider to be interesting. So
24.
Let's go to page, yes, please, page 44 in the workbook. No, this is the student's book. I say the workbook. Here, no. My God. Page 44. Here. It says relative pronouns and relative clauses. Complete the sentences with the correct relative pronoun from the box. And they give you exactly 4 possibilities. Be careful in the exams. If they say 4, you have to use these 4s. I don't see that, for example. Don't use it. Which, who, whose, or where. I'm going to give you some minutes, but please, as soon as you finish, send me a message to check it out. Mike, finished? And Alex, very good. Number one is the example. So it says there are a lot of after school sports activities at my school, but the people who most need exercise don't go. Typical. And number two, schools blank. What is the word here, Alex, in number two?
Which?
Which. Do you agree, Mike?
Yes, I put
Yeah.
also which.
Excellent. Schools which provide relaxation classes for students get better exam results. A question, do you consider number two defining or non-defining relative clause?
Defining.
Yes, Mike, very
clause.
good. It is defining, not only because I don't see the commas, which is logic too, but not only because of that, also because this is the school that I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about exactly about the school which provide relaxation classes, not the rest of the schools, no, only these ones. So it's essential. It is essential. A question. This is for Alex. This is defining relative clause, Alex. Can I change which for that?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, because in the defining relative clauses, we can replace which for that. Three, at my school there are a lot of children blank parents belong to the local sports club. What about this, Mike?
It is whose.
Whose. Very good. Very good. Defining or non-defining?
Defining.
Excellent. Excellent. Number four, the diet blank children had 30 or 40 years ago was much healthier. What about this, Alex?
I think it's which, but I don't know.
Yes, which is okay. Yes, Alex, it is which. A more difficult question, Alex. Is this defining or non-defining?
Defining.
Defining. Can we omit which or not?
I think no.
Yes, because we have children.
Oh.
See, children can be now,
Okay,
if I omit who, children is the subject. I can say the diet children had 30 or 40 years ago, and it is complete. So yes, it is defining, and we have a noun after who, in this case, after which, so it's possible. In number four, Mike and Alex, we can replace which for that. Like I said, the diet that children, and we can omit it also. The diet children, good. Let's go to five. The government blank job, it is to promote, yes, the government job is to promote healthy eating, is not doing enough to encourage parents to change their shopping and cooking habits. What is the word missing here, Mike?
Whose.
Yes, very
But
good.
it's a strange structure.
Yes, it is, Mike. Very strange.
I found it difficult for speaking or writing something.
Yes, it is, but it's very common in even in Spanish. But I understand that it's difficult because in other classes the student told me exactly the same. So this is in reality the government whose job, and now they are going to explain the job of a government, and they say the government whose job it is to promote. No, but we don't say it is. There is another problem here. Whose job it is now, whose job is to, yes, it's very complex, this sentence. The government whose job is what we normally say, The government whose job is to promote healthy eating is not doing enough to encourage parents to change their shopping and cooking habits. I can tell you that this is normally a non-defining relative clause. Why non-defining? Why commas? Because this is the job of all governments. I don't have to tell you that whose job is to promote. No, this is the job of all decent government in the world. So we should use commas, but we don't have the commas, see? So it's very confusing, number 7. No, number 5, sorry. Number 6, Alex, what is the word in the spacing blank for you?
Which?
Yes, yes. It's unhealthy options on our school menu, which are always the cheapest. Very good. And number 7, Mike?
Which or that?
Which or that? No, only which.
And that, no.
No.
University is... yes.
I understand now. Do you know why? Do you know what the problem is, Mike? That we haven't read exercise B. We haven't read.
It's possible. It's possible.
If you read exercise B, add commas to the sentences containing non-defining relative clauses. You see, there are some non-defining relative clauses in the examples, and they are not using the comma to confuse us.
And it's something like mechanical.
Exactly.
If you don't see the commas, you add the that.
That's right, Mike. But now you are prepared for that. I think that in the exam you will be more careful than that. We need commas here. Childhood obesity, comma, which is now a huge problem in Europe, may have a significant impact on life expectancy. And now, as I am using comma, because I understand that the clause, which is now a huge problem in Europe, is extra information, I know that in non-defining, I cannot replace which for that. Now, number 8, Alex, what is the pronoun that you use here?
Who?
Yes, there aren't many sports activities available for boys who aren't interested in football. Do you consider that this is defining or non-defining, Alex?
Defining, I think.
Yes, so no commas, very good. Question, Alex, can we replace who for that?
Yes.
Can we eliminate or omit who?
No.
Excellent.
Because there are no subject after.
Exactly. Very good, Alex. We have the pronoun and immediately after the verb. Very good. The biggest problem, what about 9, Mike? What is the relative pronoun that you use there?
Which?
Which. The biggest problem which many schools have is preventing pupils from bringing unhealthy snacks into school. Very good. Do you consider, Mike, that this is defining, no commas, or non-defining commas?
I think it's defining.
Yes, excellent. In that case, can we replace which for that?
No, we can replace.
Yes, we can, because it's defining. Only in the non-defining, the commas, only in the non-defining relative clauses is when we cannot replace which for that. But when it is defining like this.
The that. Yes. Sorry, I understood if we have to remove from the sentence which. Sorry.
No. We can replace it. Sorry, we can omit it. Yes. We can omit which. Because it's defining, number 1, and because you have many schools. So you can say, the biggest problem many schools have is preventing pupils from blah, blah, blah. So you can omit it. Yes. Number 10, Alex, what is the relative pronoun here?
Where.
Where. Very good. And with where, we can do nothing, right? Where is where and nothing to do. Very good, friends. Very good. Well, I think we should finish the relative pronouns because we are getting nervous and because I think you know the principal thing. Now, the only thing we need about relative clauses is to analyze individually at home, while you are practicing some yoga exercise, you concentrate on relative pronouns, and everything will flow. Everything will flow. Well, friends, and now let's do some listening. On page, I continue in the workbook, right? And in the workbook, page 47, I found an interesting listening exercise for you. So let's go to page 47 in the workbook. Let's go to 47. Here, listening, part 4. You will hear a high school student interviewing a doctor as part of his research for a project on sleep. So the topic is sleep. Each questions one for questions 1 to 7, choose the best answer, A, B, or C. I'm going to give you a minute, Alex and Mike, for you to read how many? They are 7. The 7 questions and their corresponding answers in case you need to use the dictionary, right? Okay. Let's do it. In 1 minute, we begin.
And Jerry, can you send the audio to the WhatsApp group? Because in these days I try to download or to upload the audio, but it doesn't work in my laptop.
Well, friends, you know that you have this audio in your WhatsApp group. So I'm going to give you 2 extra minutes for you to listen to it again and try to answer the questions on page 47 in the workbook, right? As soon as you are ready to answer, send me a message. Alex finished. And Mike finished. So let's check it out. In number 1, compared to the past, people now sleep at night. A, B, or C? What's your opinion? For Alex, it's letter C. And for Mike, it's letter A. No, it's letter C, Mike, for a shorter time. Number 1 is letter C. And number 2, friends, opinions. Well, for Alex, is A in number 2. And for Mike, is A. No, it's letter B, a short sleep in the afternoon. Number 2 is B. Number 3, research has already shown that a lack of sleep can affect teenagers. A, B, or C? 3. For Alex, it's letter C. And for Mike, letter C. No, it's letter B. Oh my God. Performance at school. Let's concentrate on 4. What does the doctor say is to blame for teenagers not getting enough sleep? A, B, or C? Number 4. C for Alex, and C, yes, and C for Mike. Very good. 5. What advice does the doctor give for teenagers who have trouble getting to sleep? A, B, or C? C for Alex. And for Mike? For Mike is A. Correct, Mike. It is letter A. Read a favorite book. 6. What does the doctor think schools should do? A, B, or C? C for Alex and A for Mike. In this case, Alex is right. It's letter C. Start lessons later. And in number 7, friends, For Mike is B, for Alex is B, and B is correct. Well, the results were not very good this time. I repeat the answers. 1C, 2B, 3B, 4C, 5A, 6C, 7B. Thank you very much for the effort. Let's go now to the final. Yes?
Why the third is letter B?
Performance
I
at school.
think it says something like we could have depressions.
Let's listen to it again. Sorry, give me a second. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here. And that's the answer. It has not been demonstrated that it can affect health, but it's been demonstrated in research that students who sleep less hours than they necessary time are not getting good results. So that's the problem. Anyway, friends, if you have a chance, listen to it again at home. And for me, it's very clear that yes, performance at school is affected by this problem with sleep. Well, I repeat, 1C, 2B, 3B, 4C, 5A, 6C, and 7B. And now, let's do some reading and use of English using our page 123 in the student's book. Let's do exercise 5, please. Exercise 5, page 122. It says, Spanish-speaking exam candidates often make mistakes with relative pronouns. But my God, we have practiced that a lot. So I prefer not doing that. I think we did it before, right? Let's go to page 123, because there is something important on page 123. Let me show you. Let me show you, please. Give me a second. Let's see. Student's book. Page 123 is the next here. Reading and use of English. Exercise 1. Observe how interesting this exercise is. Read this extract from Reading and Use of English, Part 6, and choose the best answer to the question below. And they give you a chart, a box. Inside the box, you have these words. Some very important detail that has been overlooked and which might lead to the patient being misdiagnosed, and which might lead to the patient being misdiagnosed. Right? I repeat, overlooked. Can you see the word? It is a verb. Overlooked. It means pasar por alto. It is in past participle. Pasado por alto. Very good. Well, now, the problem is misdiagnosed. And it says, what does misdiagnosed mean? A, diagnosed badly or wrongly, or B, not diagnosed at all. What's your opinion? A or B?
I think A.
You think it's A, and you, Alex?
Yeah, I think it's A too.
It is A. Very good. So, conclusion. When we use mis, normally preceding an adjective, it means that it was done, you know, the activity was done, but incorrectly. Incorrectly. Misdiagnosed is that someone diagnosed the patient, but wrongly, incorrectly. Now, number 2. Now read these 2 sentences and answer the questions below them. He unlocked the front door and walked in. What does unlock mean in the sentence? A or B?
B, no?
B for Alex and for Mike?
B.
Yes, B is correct. So on is different to miss. Miss is to do something but incorrectly. On is the opposite of the next word. Lock is to close, unlock is to open. Very good. And now let's continue. The football competition was so disorganized that no one knew what time their team had to play. Disorganized. What does disorganized mean? A or B?
It's possible A.
For Mike,
Organized.
for Mike is A, and for Alex?
B.
B. No,
Yes.
no, it's A. As
Okay.
Mike said, disorganized is that something is not organized. It's the opposite of organized. So here we have 3.
But
Yes,
one question.
yes.
It does exist misorganized.
No, it doesn't exist. Good question, Mike.
For
No, I've never
no?
seen misorganized. No, but maybe it exists, you know, Mike, because
Yes.
you can imagine how many surprises I have with the dictionaries.
For the
Maybe the word
second, I answered that. I questioned that for the second definition.
organized wrongly.
Yes.
No, disorganized is not organized. But if you ask me,
Yes.
misorganized
I
exists. Maybe
Okay.
misorganized exists. Maybe. But this organized is the opposite of organized. The question 3 was a problem in the previous class. Let's see with you. Which prefix, mis, on, or this has a different meaning from the other 2? Difficult question, no? Nobody?
I think could be miss.
Yes, Alex, it is miss. Because miss, alone, of course, no meaning. Alone, it doesn't have any meaning, but in combination with another word means that thing, that activity was done, but incorrectly. However, on is the opposite of the next word. Think of unlock is the opposite of lock.
Yes.
And this is the opposite. Think of disorganized is the opposite of organized. So on and this can be more or less similar, but miss is different. It's totally different to the rest. And the exercise with other class or other classes, it was sensational because students began learning how to form words. Observe that Mike asked me, teacher, Miss Organized exist. Why not? Maybe. Meaning that it was organized, yes, but incorrectly. It may be the word exist. Now you have to, using the words in black, in capital letters, in number 1, do, in number 2, appoint, in number 3, use, you have to find a word using the prefixes miss, on, or this that you consider to be adequate. Maybe you will need to use your translator or dictionaries, right? So I'm going to give you some minutes, and when you finish, send me a message, please. We are working with the vocabulary, right? So Mike finished. And Alex finished. Could you help me? What, friends? Could you help me the button? Undoing for Alex, undoing for Mike, but no ing. The answer is correct, but no ing. Could you help me undo the button? And now we are learning new words. Undo is the opposite of do. So the possible translation would be deshacer, right? But not in this context. Undo the button is desabrochar el botón. See that? Interesting. Can you help me undo the button of the back of my dress? Undo the button, desabotonar. Do the button, abotonar. Well, now, number 2. I know the news will blah, blah, blah you, but we are unable to offer you the job. What about here? Disappoint for Mike and disappoint for Alex. Correct. Correct, friends. I know the news will disappoint you, but we are unable to offer you the job. Number 3, if you, the equipment, it will probably break. Misuse for Mike, misuse for Alex. Correct. Misuse, to use incorrectly, to use wrongly. Very good. The knot was so tight that we couldn't eat. What? Untie for Alex, untie for Mike. Correct. Correct. So, tie es atar, untie, desatar. Very good. Accommodation is a word which many students what? Misspell, Alex and Mike. Misspell, correct, correct. Misspell. That is to spell incorrectly. I can't find my keys anywhere. They seem to have just what? In number 6. Disappear for Mike, disappear with ed, Alex. Disappeared for Alex. Very good. Number 7. This isn't a complete checkup, so you needn't get, just take off your shirt. Undressed, Alex. Very good. Undressed with ed, Mike. Undressed. Get undressed. Get dressed, vístete. Get undressed, desvístete. But with ed. 8. I'm afraid you must have been. It doesn't matter, Mike. We are starting here. That's good. I'm afraid you must be in what? There is no concert here tonight. Misinformed. Yes, Mike. What's your opinion, Alex? Misinformed. Exactly. Yes, very good. Vocabulary, friends. Pure vocabulary.
Jerry, one question. Misspell is with one S or with two S?
Two with double S. Yes, double S. Imagine that's a problem with the spell. You use the mis of the prefix, the mis with S, and the S of a spell.
Okay.
So it makes a double S. Very confusing, Alex. Yes, misspell. Well, friends, the final exercise in this class, maybe it depends on the time it takes, is going to be exercise number 6 on page 123. Exercise 6. It says, for questions 1 to 8, read this text, use a word given in capitals, blah, blah, blah. The same instructions we always receive with this kind of exercise. you have to use a derivative of expect, secure, occasion, medicine, etc., etc. I'm going to give you some minutes, and when you finish, send me a message. So Alex finished. And Mike finished. Excellent. Let's check it out. Is there a doctor on board? You are on a plane in midair. You undo your seat belt and begin to relax when you hear an what? Unexpected for Alex. Expectative, No, Mike. I think Alex's answer is better. Inesperado anuncio. Unexpected announcement. Is there a doctor on board? As we all know, air travel can be an extremely stressful experience, especially after going through airport. Airport what? Airport blank checks. Security for Alex, security for Mike. Yes, very good. Security checks. Studies of airline passengers reveal that we all worry that blah, blah, blah. We all when occasionate for Mike, occasionally for Alex. Yes, occasionally. Ocasionalmente nos preocupamos, that we all occasionally worry that we or another passenger may have a problem. Medical for Alex, medical for Mike, correct. A medical problem far from a hospital at a of 10,000 meters. At a what? At a height, very good. Height, very good, Mike and Alex, very good. Well, now Lufthansa, the German airline, has made that on 80% of its flights, the what is a noun, because we have the article there. Calculation for Mike, calculation for Alex, correct. The calculation that on 80% of his flights, there is, in fact, a doctor amongst the passengers. Having a patient previously obtained the doctor's agreement, when there is a medical emergency on board, one of the cabin staff will discreetly ask for his or her what? Synonym of help. Assistant, no. Assistant is a person. Assistance, yes. For his or her assistance, help. It's hoped that in the future, this system will avoid making the other passengers, when these situations arise, uncomfortable. Synonym of easily, Mike, no. This easy, no, no, Alex, uneasy. Uneasy. Uneasy, which is a synonym of uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, uneasy, uncomfortable. Yes, Alex. It doesn't matter, friend. We need to try. Huh? If we don't try, we never win. Very good. That was our lesson today. Sure, Alex, sure. Besides, you are the monitor. Friends, this is the end of our class. Now I have to assign a homework. Let me added here the homework, which is, you know, something that was part of an exam, and I want you to practice with it, because if not, this exercise is there waiting for better times. Give me a chance, give me a minute. Where is it?
Jerry,
Yes.
one question.
Yes.
I think we have to do a reading in the page 121. The last day I couldn't go to class, but I think we didn't correct the activity for the next classroom.
What was it? Exercise 4, page 121.
Yes.
Exercise 4. Well, the answer.
The reading.
The answers are in number 1, letter G. In number 2 is letter A.
Okay.
In number 3 is letter F. In number 4 is letter C. In number 5 is letter B. In number 6 is letter D. Is that okay?
Yes, perfect.
Good. Well, the homework is this. There are 3 copies. This is the first one. As you can see, they are use of English exercises that belong to a very old exam that I want to use with you in order to practice. This is part 4A, the first part of part 4, and now I'm going to add the last part of exercise 4. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, here. This is our homework. Anyway, because I know that Mike can have problems with this, I'm going to send it to the WhatsApp group. Okay, Mike?
Okay, okay. Better to me.
Yes, I will do it. I promise. I will do it immediately. Thank you very much, friends. See you next class. Thank you, boys, for being with me. You are the only ones. Hug and kisses for all of you. See you next class.
Thank you, Jerry. Bye.
Bye-bye, friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.